Bloody hell, it's cold in here.
I know.
And there's only one chair.
We'll take turns.
This is a cold studio. Oh, so you get the chair. Right, I'll go and get another chair then.
Here he comes with his chair. And he has arrived.
This is not a chair befitting my status.
Hey there, creative minds and business enthusiasts. Welcome to Looks Like We Made It, the podcast where we dive deep into the dynamic world of video marketing, content creation, and all things creative. I'm Izzy, your guide through this creative journey, wearing two hats, head of production and senior video editor. But I am not in this alone. Meet the other half of our dynamic duo, my dad, Chris, our director and the creative genius behind Howell Media and Howell Training. Together, we're not just a podcast, we're a father-daughter team on a mission to bring you insights, tips, and laughs from the heart of the creative industry. Whether you're a business looking to up your video game or a budding creative hungry for knowledge, this is the place to be. We've got real-life experiences, expert advice, and a sprinkle of anecdotes to keep things interesting. So, if you're ready to unlock the power of video, bespoke content, and training to achieve amazing results, you're in the right spot. Fasten your seatbelts because this is Looks Like We Made It, where we turn creativity into success, one episode at a time.
That's good.
Thank you. First new intro. We're back.
We're back. Where have you been?
I went and had my child and came back, and now we are back on the other side of it, and here we are.
So is that a year?
Yeah, well, our last episode went out. You went and did it alone for a bit, and you couldn't obviously do it without me.
No.
But our last one went out in April, so we are what?
You keep kicking that.
Oh, right, sorry.
Start again.
So our last episode went out in April last year, which was 2023. So we're back, new year, new podcast, new vibe.
Well, it's February.
It's true.
But it's great to be back. It's been absolutely brilliant to be back, and thank you to everybody who has stuck with us. We've been getting quite a lot of people saying, well, is that it then? It's finished. And we do apologise for sort of vanishing off the face of the earth for about 10 months. But anyway.
But we haven't disappeared completely. We've been doing other cool things.
We've been doing other cool things.
What are cool things that have happened since we last released an episode?
We've got a new intro, which I like the new intro. And
thank you.
I particularly like creative genius as a line. Maybe that's a bit glam, to be honest.
I didn't get a genius comment. I got two hats, and that's it.
No, I'll go for that. I'll have that. I'll take it.
Okay.
Right. So what's today's agenda then?
Today's agenda, I feel like because we've had a lot of things that have happened since we last released an episode, we've had some new products hit the market. We've had new businesses as part of our offering have appeared. So we have been busy, even though we haven't been recording podcast episodes. We've been
really busy.
So I think the key thing that we're going to be doing today is looking at one of those products in particular that I think is definitely something we should talk about in a bit more detail.
Okay, is it a product or is it a service?
Oh, well, now you're asking me. I keep saying product, but it is probably a service, isn't it? Oh, right, okay. Well, here we go again, people.
Are we talking? Go on, do it.
Well, so the question is today, as you can tell, we're slightly out of practice. The question is today, what is Atlas?
What is Atlas? They've got the
magic
universe. You're holding the universe on your back. You're holding it up.
Love it.
So Atlas.
You started off high. Keep going.
Okay, so.
Tell me about it. What is it?
Okay, so Atlas is something that we're offering our clients. In a nutshell, we are offering to be your in-house, out-of-house marketing department. And what I mean by that is we're not trying to we're not trying to muscle into any kind of space that we shouldn't be in, but this is a brilliant thing because what Atlas does, it allows any organization, regardless of size, to dial into our skills and our expertise and access a whole team of people, and you don't need to employ them because we're already here. So in a sense, say as an organization, you're just about to employ a marketing executive on X amount per year. And then the marketing executive is going to come in and then they're going to hire a bunch of people to deliver some lovely content. Great. That's a great model. What Atlas does is you hire the Howell Media crew, the team, And so you do hire an account manager, you do hire a marketing executive, you do hire a videographer, you do hire a graphic designer, you do hire a content creator, you hire a whole bunch of people. We become part of your marketing, part of your marketing output. You hire us, we come in, we blow your mind, it's brilliant, and you get tons of great results, and you give us a glowing report.
And that's the end of the episode. Thank you. No, I think
that's blatant. Sorry, I just jumped in there. That's blatant, like kind of upselling. But essentially, the important thing is that it's a new way for us to partner with clients, and for clients to access services that ordinarily they wouldn't get access to, and we can deliver a much more rounded, holistic marketing solution for people.
Fantastic. Well, I think the reason why I think that particularly as a media company that we saw this as a reason to be switching is I think the way people consume content is massively changing, and the way organizations need to be utilizing content creation services is massively changing. So I always stand by the fact that I think content creation and marketing are still somewhat different things. They're kind of like neighbors in the same street, but I don't think they are exactly the same thing. Because marketing is kind of the broader term that thinks about what they're going to do to sell a product, how they're going to do it. It focuses on strategy, monitoring, reporting. But then us content creation people within that umbrella, we do the actual creating of the content. You can talk about what you want to produce for a very long time, and ideas are the essence of everything we do, but it's the actual people behind it. It's the bodies that do the actual creation of the content creation, which do make a huge difference. So I think that when we're looking at how people consume content nowadays and how there's a real consistency and regularity required with content, the way we work with companies naturally has changed, where we're there more often. The way we create content is more driven towards having a variety of content that could be spread over a campaign. And Atlas just felt like a good fit for all
It's
of that.
a great fit. And also, I think the important thing as well is that we don't do anything without a business use case. We don't do anything. We don't just go, oh, well, let's just throw some time and effort at it, and something might stick. There's always a bigger strategic campaign-led approach to everything we do. Because I think that if you just go, like I say, if you just go, oh, well, we'll just make some stuff that's pretty and we'll stick it on social media, and you may or may not get some traction from that. Well, that's I suppose in the kind of the loosest sense, that is content creation, but ultimately, if it doesn't form part of a wider objective, then you're just sort of shouting into the forest, really. So I think that the key terms with Atlas is campaign. I think that's really a really important term, because again, when you're running a campaign, a key objective has to be able to measure how effective that campaign is. Because there's no point me talking to our customers and saying, hey, you should hire us on a 6 or 12 month or 18-month contract under our new Atlas banner, and we can't tell you why we think that's a good idea. What we have to do is establish what it is you're trying to achieve, and then we can put an actual campaign around that. We can figure out how best to deploy our resources to get you the most traction, get you the most results. And then the great thing is it's all measurable. The great thing is at the end of the period, if it hasn't worked and we're hopeless and you haven't got what you expected, then rightly so, you should boot us out the door. But I think the key thing is A, not to be booted out the door, but B, that we can say, well, actually, yeah, you started off, you had 34 followers and 6 people liked your posts. Now you've got 1,000 followers, 2,000 people are liking your posts, and you're selling a product, and you can identify where that came from. I mean, it's a big topic, and it's probably not one just to sort of tidy up here, but I think that the concept of Atlas is one that we're very excited about, because it enables us also to really get to know a client's business. Because I think that's the other thing as well. We'll still do you can just hire us to make you a film, or you can hire us to do some work for you. That's fine. We're happy to do that. But when you really get to know a client's business and you understand their objectives, really understand the project nature of it, then you can, it gives you such a position of strength to be able to develop real longevity in terms of a campaign can run consistently, and the messaging is consistent, and you can also then say, well, actually that worked well, that didn't work so well, let's develop this part of it. And it's a real collaborative tour de force. So I'm excited for what it means for our customers.
Yeah, totally. Well, 100%. I mean, I agree with that. I think what I really like about, particularly in a production hat, one of my many hats, particularly one of the production things I love about doing stuff on a monthly basis versus maybe a more isolated project, is that you do get a chance to really get to know that business. And I think you kind of go on a bit of a journey that makes a difference in the long run. Because when you're doing isolated projects, so we're hired for, say, to do a promo here, or a series of explainer videos here, we get involved within that isolated part of that story essentially, and then that then goes out and then gets used. And we sometimes will get clients saying, oh, this has performed really well and this is what's happened, and they'll come back to us and they'll come and keep working with it and we'll get more out of it. But what I quite like is that we can sort of work alongside businesses in a way that we get to see more about that business, and we get to know them a lot more. We get to enjoy the highs with them and support them through the lows. And I think that is such a, and every business goes through a real kind of, particularly after the pandemic in the last few years, it's like, it is a massive sort of peak and trough situation. And I think that having a level of hand-holding consistency where it doesn't matter what's happening over there, you've got great stuff going out, you've got people you can talk to, that if you do need something last minute, like on top of the social media output that you've got, you do need a really nice pitch document designed or a little film for a presentation, or you've got people you can just go, oh my God, I need your help, and we just jump in straight away. And I think that, and then knowing within that, we get to know the people we work with per month really, really well. And we work alongside them in a way where we start to understand where the pressure points are, where the pain points are, and we can kind of work alongside them in that world. And I love it.
I think that's brilliant. I think also that what is great is that they have expectations. Is like ultimately, if you do a standalone project for someone, which is great, but ultimately their expectations of that, they've got nothing to measure that against. Whereas with the Atlas campaign builder, they have legitimate expectations. They have legitimate expectations of what it is we're gonna deliver for them. And I think that there's no way to hide. It performs or it doesn't perform. And whatever metric they choose to use to measure success. It might be as simple as, we've got a product we want to sell more of. It might be an awareness campaign. It could be anything really. It could be a hybrid of all sorts of things. But ultimately, there's a measurability that we can't hide from that. And so it makes, I'd argue, actually makes it puts us on our, we have to be on our game, all the time. And I think that's a
which we are all the time, as you can tell.
Yes. And I think that's in essence what Atlas stands for and what Atlas is all about. And we're still sort of finding our way a little bit with it. I mean, to be honest, I think that it's a new thing. It's a new way of working for us. But on balance, the results have been off the charts. I mean, I'm really thrilled and proud of the fact that every single organisation that we've done delivered some Atlas campaign builder work through have seen the benefit in it. They've also, we've got 100% buy-in rate at the moment, which is, we've not lost anybody.
Long shall it rain?
Yeah, we've not lost anybody yet. So clearly it is working. And it's just a case of all the time just fine tuning. Because essentially, the other thing about this is that it's good discipline for us as well as a business, because we have to treat ourselves as an Atlas client. So in terms of like what we're doing, things like actually doing our podcast, and again, important things that we have a discipline now that has come directly from our own Atlas mindset. So really exciting, really interesting direction that we're taking this side of the business in, and I think it's going to really be a blueprint for kind of how things are done from now on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'd 100% agree, because I think that, like I said, in the time that even we've been working together, the world of the creative industry,
the landscape has changed
massively. Changed.
Well, when I started in 1837,
oh, here we go.
The landscape was completely different.
I know you just discovered print at the time. I think but it's even so far as it means that it encourages us to stay on top of things, but it also means that all clients kind of get the benefit of us staying on top of things. They don't have to do that as well. Like, they can leave that to us to do that part of it, and you can crack on and do your job that you do best. Like, everyone's an expert in their own field.
It's a great solution. So this is not a blatant sales pitch. This is interesting because I think what it also does is it does provoke a conversation, and it's a two-way street. Ultimately we're asking our customers to commit to us, but the flip side of this is that we are committing to them. Ultimately that we certainly, to start with, there's a lot of this thing is massively front end loaded, because we've got to get to know everything. We've got to create the starting point to launch the campaign. So we are, it's a real partnership, and I think that's a really valid.
And it's amazing what kind of random trivia me and you end up learning. We have to get involved in so many different industries. We can come away with knowing some really strange technical facts or things that literally we could probably pick up and work in different industries without realizing. Yeah, can you turn the radiator off because it's absolutely boiling in here now? I think that it's not a blatant pitch, because I think a lot of creative businesses are going in this direction anyway, just because that's where content creation is going. It's a mix between volume and value, and it's finding that balance. And I think we've struck it. I mean, I'm gonna just throw it out there. I think we struck that balance, but just report back in future episodes whether that happened. So next final segment, which I'm quite keen to. If you were a listener of previous episodes, you'll know that. Well, the thing that you pay for in terms of our Atlas platform and in general with Howell Media is you get the level of attention to detail that, our clients really value, and it makes your content stand out. But that does require us being a tad pedantic, and Chris is proud of being what we'd call a pedant in our business when it comes to content creation. And we have a thing called Pedant's Corner, which we are reviving from the previous section. And actually anything from Pedant's Corner in terms of your things that have really wound you up as a expert, a genius in the creative industry.
Well, with me, I'm quite type orientated.
Absolutely.
And font mad.
Okay, well then throw it in there. What's your pedantic comment of the week?
Well, I would say that I'm seeing far too much multi-font mixing going on. I'm not liking when I'm seeing 2 or 3 different font families appearing in the same piece of work. One font family with 2 or 3 weights is all you'll ever need, and it's not really pedantry as such. It's just kind of like it's just sort of like annoying when you just think, just because you've got lots of fonts doesn't mean that you need to use lots of fonts.
Just because you could doesn't mean you should.
So it's not strictly pedantry.
We're more in pedant's room rather than pedant's corner at this point.
It's just a general observation as someone that's worked in and around fonts most of my career. Just go easy. Just go easy on them.
I like it. Okay. Well, there's your answer for this week. I love it. Finally, one question of the week. seeing as we're on a monthly discussion, what's your favourite thing you pay per month for?
Ooh, what's my favourite thing I pay per month for? Ooh, that's a really tricky one, isn't it?
Yeah, because you end up paying for lots of little things per month, and then actually some stuff you come away with going, I don't use that, but the stuff that you genuinely use.
Well, if I was being favourite thing, might be something like our business insurance, because they're kind of like, you know,
the most exciting thing.
I'd say maybe maybe a sort of a subscription service. I've just signed up to Apple Plus,
Apple TV, is
Apple
it?
TV Plus.
Oh,
there's
a lot of content on there.
a lot of content on there, so I'm kind of enjoying that at the minute.
Well, see, my favourite thing I pay per month for has to be Spotify. I literally,
yeah, of course.
it's when in terms of, I love the Spotify wrap they do at the end of every year, but in that they actually tell you how many hours you spent listening to Spotify, and I think mine ends up being like a solid 40 days of the year listening to music.
I hope you're listening to Looks Like We Made It podcast.
Absolutely. I've been our only listener since April, so I'm hoping that we will obviously be getting a lot more listeners coming our way soon. If you want to be a guest on our podcast, you absolutely can as well, so just get in touch for us on that. But we Looks Like We Made It, and we'll be back every other Tuesday with more awesome content coming soon. So see you later.
Bye.